All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Alana Hubert Katz. I am a KW certified trainer. I'm a national and local coach. I run a education and coaching department for 8 locations throughout Maryland, DC, and Virginia. I've been an agent since 2015. Oh my goodness, that's insane. Over 10 years. And all those emails you get and everything you receive and reminders, etc., etc. Hi, they're from me. I'm the founder of Ignite After Dark Empowered with my co-partner, Matt Verdon. I'm sure you've all had him as an instructor at least once. He's amazing. So thank you all for attending. Thank you for showing up. This is you pouring into your business and your success and your goals. And I love today's topic. Oh, thank you. Oh, by the way, I love reactions. Thank you for that. You know what? I'm going to give all of you, I'm giving all of you little rocket ships to grow your business. There you go. Rocket ships for tonight for showing up to your business. And I say that because right now we have about 28, everybody has a little, I call it Zoom time. We'll probably get up to about 30 or so people who are continuing their journey in Ignite After Dark. And it started with, well, on the what I call Pacific time, it started with about 200. So we're in the fourth week of a night. It started with about 200, and there's about 30 some who are still in it to win it, attending, focused on their success, their goals, their winning, and that's all of you. So seriously, congratulations to all of you. I will tell you, those who truly finish Ignite are the ones who last in this business and who outperform the other agents. Again, I've been doing this since 2015. I've been coaching since 2017, and I've probably worked with a little over 1,000 agents by now, which is crazy. Like I say these numbers out loud, and it's just nutty to me. So I'll kick off with tonight's topic. We're going to be talking all about strengthening relationships, the importance of it, different ways to go about it in an organic manner so you don't sound or feel or come across as some agents like to refer it. I know I did in my first year as salesy. Um, and just ways to better follow up with people through those relationships and the importance of that. Now, what's really funny about tonight's topic is locally, so here in Maryland, DC, and Virginia, I again oversee a program, and every Tuesday I do a skill workshop. Every single Tuesday at noon, I do a skill workshop. And I do 9 different skills for 9 weeks in a row, and then I skip a week, rinse and repeat. So I never really know what the topic is of that day because I just literally rinse and repeat. So it doesn't like align with Ignite, two totally separate things. So funniest thing is today I taught the skill workshop and it was all about building relationships to have a stronger database of relationships. So when I sat down for tonight's topic, I'm like, oh my God, I literally just taught this at 12 o'clock today. I love that. So at some point tonight, I will actually be sharing a little, it's not an Ignite, it's something I give to the people I coach. So I will be sharing a different screen of that material to give you some action items to do that I gave everybody today at noon because I was like, why not give it to all of you for showing up tonight? So thank you. All right. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to kick things off. By the way, as we go on, if you have any questions, throw them in the chat box. I'm here to answer them. I will have the chat box. I'll be looking at that throughout it to make sure, I get those answered. Or you can raise your digital hand. This is your time. You're taking 2 hours out of your evening. So please, if you have questions, I absolutely love them. Definitely ask them. If it is something I can't answer because it's state specific or commission specific or a little too scenario long specific based on time, I'll point you in the right direction.
Let's go ahead.
Okay. All right. I'm sure you've seen these slides. I need to get through them. All right. So number one, TCP Act, please make sure you follow it, review it, learn it. It's a real thing. All the materials are copyrighted, Fair Housing Act. Make sure you know what that is. AI disclaimer, anything you do now, I am an AI junkie. ChatGPT is my best friend. I mean, I
Deneme
use tons of
cámara.
platforms. Ooh, I'm going to keep everybody mute. I use tons of platforms, but chat's kind of my buddy. Lately, my therapist, my operations coordinator, my education advisor, my financial advisor. It's been a little of everything these days. So, oh, and travel as well. Taking a few trips coming up here. So just make sure that you are doing your due diligence and researching and making sure what you're seeing on there is actually accurate because it's not always correct. All right, let's dive in. So tonight's material is going to be all about establishing the mindset around relationships, identifying the goals with building relationships and strengthening them, devising a plan on how to best follow up with individuals to not just strengthen the relationship, but how do you follow up organically? So you're not just calling people and saying things like, "Hey Sarah, listen, I know we talked a month ago and you mentioned you want to buy a house in September of this year. So are you ready now? Did it change?" Right? That's what you don't do. Right. So we're going to talk about what do you do? How does that sound? And then where do you keep that information for memory purposes? All right. So mindset. Let me ask this question. I'm gonna come off of this. This is gonna be a live question. By the way, I am that instructor. Like I'll totally awkwardly stare at the screen, just waiting for an answer. You can come off of mute, you can put it in the chat box, wherever you feel like answering. I'm not gonna call any names, but I will awkwardly stare at the screen until I hear something or read something. Um, so oh, thank you for letting me check the waiting room. I don't have anybody in there, but I appreciate you letting me know. Um, why is building and strengthening relationships so crucial in what we do as a real estate agent? Why is that even a 2 hour topic tonight for us? What do you think?
To develop trust.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know if you said that. And then you know what I love is that you said that the second I read it in the chat box from somebody else and somebody else typed it. So like there's a theme. Yes, it builds trust. 100%. Right? People work with those they know, they like, and they trust. Okay, so it builds trust. What else? What else it do? What else does building relationships do for you and your business? Feel
Referrals.
comfortable? Oh, what was that, Robert?
Referrals. Ultimately,
Oh, I
it's
love that. Yes, thank you. Referrals. Do you think you might talk to someone who might not be ready to buy or sell with you today? Maybe it's not until next year or even 2 years from now, but they know people or they come across people, or all of a sudden they're sitting at their job and someone's talking real estate and they're like, oh my God, wow, that's so weird. I actually just talked to Larry, who's a real estate agent in our area. Let me connect you. Right. By the way, that really does happen. Okay. So trust, building referrals. I also see in there, well, that's it right there, right, Catherine? Real estate is a relationship business. So here's the thing about real estate, right? You don't want to be a transactional agent. A transactional agent is, hi, I'm here to help you buy a house. Let me find out what you need. Great. Here's the house. You bought it. Here's a house. You sold it. Fantastic. Here's the keys. Thank you so much. I got my money. You go on your merry way. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right? That is not the agent you want to be, right? If you focus on the money, you focus on transactions, you will 100% always lose. When you focus on the person, you focus on what their wants and needs are and when they need it, what their time frame is. You build a relationship to stay in contact. Okay. Now, here's the real mindset around this. Okay. Here's the real mindset around this. Let me pop to the screen because this goes right into this. Now I'm going to give you a bunch of numbers. Now, here's the thing. I love numbers because they tell a story. Now, what's really funny is if anybody back in like my high school years and my college years ever heard me say the words, I love numbers, would just laugh me out of the room right now because well, failed math every single time I took it. So me and numbers were not friends, but me and numbers today are friends. We are best friends because numbers tell a story. So one of the numbers I'm going to share with you is a nationwide stat that has been proven. It does change every so often, but this one's kind of stayed pretty steady for the past few years. And here's the number. Okay, this is really important as an agent, whether you are brand new, a week in, a year in, 3 years in, 5 years in, it doesn't matter. When you connect with, now, these are averages. So the time of the market, so for example, spring market will change these a little bit. The type of lead sources you're calling, who you're calling on, that's going to skew these numbers a little bit. But on average, the numbers I'm giving you are pretty accurate based on the research. So on average, when an agent connects, connecting simply means voice to voice, text to text, DM to DM, or face to face. Doesn't have to be about real estate. I'm just connecting with you. When an agent connects with 10 people a day, 50 in a week, out of that 50, okay, one typically has a real estate need now being, what month are we in? February, March, or April. That's now. 3 to 5 on average have a real estate need within 4 to 12 months from now. Okay, now all 50 are captured as leads. They're all people. They go into our funnel, our database. Now, everybody on here, whether you're with Keller Williams, you're a guest with another brokerage, you should all have a database. If you're with Keller Williams, it's Command. That's your ecosystem for your business. And there's you have a database in there. So you feed your database with these people. A lead is simply a person. That's all that is, right? So you feed it with people. So picture at the very top of this, a whole lot of, oh my God, I should totally put this picture into ChatGPT and ask it to recreate it with like people instead of like numbers and words. I'm going to do that one day and change this slide. So you feed it with people that you know. By the way, know meaning they're in your phone, they're in your social media, they are in your network, they're your hairdresser, they're your mechanic, they are your uh, it's tax time, so my CPA, he's in here. Like everybody and anybody you have contact information for is a lead. You prospect and market to them. Prospecting mean you are connecting with them in some format where there can be a connection back. Again, text to text, DM to DM, calling them, right? By the way, I age myself when I do this, my daughter says. So I have a daughter. She is, oh my God, going to be 28 in less than 2 weeks, which is nuts. And she said, when I do this, it ages me. I have to do this now. I refuse to do that, by the way. So you're talking to them and you're also marketing to them. That's your branding. As you're doing that, and you're capturing them in your system, these leads, right? These people you are working on connecting with. When you make a connection, the connection is going to tell you a piece of information. You're like playing detective, right? So now that connection allows you to now strengthen the relationship because the connection is going to tell you something. I might talk to Robert today, and Robert's like, oh, no, I don't have any real estate needs. I'm good. I'm a renter. I mean, I'll probably want to buy a house, but not for like another 3 years. Cool. I strengthened the relationship and I found a piece of information, right? And then I talked to Mariella and she says she's looking to sell a house, but not till her kids graduate high school in 2 years, right? And then, you know, I talked to Darlene and Darlene says she's looking to do something this September. Now, let me ask this question, everybody. Use a reaction button on this one. Can you remember if you talk to 50 people in a week and at least five every single week, so that's 20 in a month, tell you they have a real estate need at some point within the next 12 months or 16 months, are you going to remember who you talked to, when they actually had the need for, and anything about the conversation? So if you talk to 5 people this week and somebody has a real estate need in September, November, and January of next year, will you remember? Take your head. You can just say no. I love the little sad face. No, exactly. These reactions are fantastic. Thank you for using them. Right? No, we don't have that memory. That's not possible. So we need to put them somewhere to do something with them. Right? So we put them in our system. And then we have to build a relationship with them. Now, that doesn't mean we have to call them every week and be like, what's up? You ready now? Right? But we do want to stay in connection with them usually once a quarter, especially people we know, once a quarter. That's a good rule of thumb. One of my favorite, I'll talk command talk, but if you're using another system, just know that any real estate CRM system has things like smart plans, drip campaigns, automated emails. By the way, all of those are the exact same thing. We just name them something new. So I'm going to call them smart plans because I use command. So I'm going to put all those individuals who I'm just keeping in touch with on a smart plan called um, quarterly touch plan. I think quarterly touches, it's called quarterly touches. All that doesn't send them anything. All it does is once a quarter, it shoots me a message to remind me to reach out to them. Right. Now, if somebody says they're looking in September, I'm now going to be setting a task to follow up every single month. Does anybody know the rule of thumb for buyers and sellers? If a buyer says they want to buy in 12 months, what is the rule of thumb for buyers buying a house? Does anyone want to take a guess? What do you guys think? If they're looking to buy in 12 months, are they going to wait 12 months? Or are they going to buy sooner or later? Yes, there you go. 6 months. Yep. Sometimes three. Yep. Every time frame almost every time frame a buyer gives you, cut it in half. They say 12 months, it'll be six. If they say six, it'll be three. For sellers, it's usually about 2/3, right? So if we're not in relationship with them, right? If we don't have them in here, we're not in relationship with them, then number one, they're going to forget who you are and talk to another agent. And then by the time you do call them, the conversation is going to go something like this. Oh my God, yeah, we just bought last month. We're so excited about our new house. Right? Which, by the way, if you've been in real estate over a year or two and you've had some business and success, you've experienced that because I know I have, right? So even as great as your database is and your follow-ups and connections, the more you have business, the more you experience that. All right. So again, your connections is that two-way conversation because you're building those relationships. Now, I'm actually I'm going to give you something that's not in here. So I'm going to stop this for a second. I'm going to give you a little cheat sheet. Everybody like a little cheat sheet? Everybody good with that? It's not in here. It's something I've used over the years. So when I first started in 2015 as an agent, I was working a full-time job and being an agent and a mom. I don't know if anybody can relate, but that's a lot. And it was hard. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was difficult. I question a lot. I was like, what did I get myself into? It's, obviously over time, I was able to get business, quit my job, blah, blah, go full time, do what I'm doing now. But I did not think that was going to happen. And I had this great coach at one point in time, and having I was struggling with having stronger conversations with people. I can gab. I can sit there and talk all day long about you, your cousins, your uncles, your dogs, your cats, your pets. But having a purposeful conversation to capture certain information to help with stronger follow-up. Right. So I struggle with that. So I had this great friend of mine who gave me this cheat sheet, and it changed everything I did. And I even used it. I'm going to share it with you. I even used it in the way I take my notes. So if you go into my command, you literally look at a person's notes. I literally type my notes out the way I'm going to say this cheat sheet. Okay. So if you're taking notes, this is what it is. Ready? The phrase is MCAT. MCAT. Okay. And what that stands for is motivation, criteria, ability, meaning financial ability. So I usually do ability, and next to it I put like a dollar sign. And then time frame. Yes, it is also a medical exam. Thank you. Absolutely. we're using it for this instead. But that's really funny that you said that because, yep, it is medical. Everything has so many meanings out there, right? Um, so the way it's broken down is this is literally your format for building a stronger relationship. Now, you have other things in there as well, right? In one of the sessions of Ignite, I know they talked about the Ford method, FORD, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, right? So that's your organic conversation. Now, you're not using all four of them at the same time. You're just choosing something, right? And then the MCAT gives you the real estate purposeful conversation. So I'll share the story that I actually shared in my class I did at 12 o'clock today, because it's still top of mind for me. And if any, I don't think anybody on here was in my 12 o'clock, but if you are, you get to hear it again. You're welcome. All right. So it was probably about 2020. And I was sitting at home and I'm going through my phone. And prior to real estate, I've worn a lot of hats in my life. I've done a lot of things. And for a very brief period of time, I was a travel agent. So travel's my passion. I love travel. I'm actually going to teach at KW in Thailand in March. So love travel. And so I thought I want to be a travel agent to help other people. Then I realized I love travel for myself and my friends and my family and helping them. I don't like helping strangers. Now, all of you are my friends now, so welcome. So when I was a travel agent, I had a really good friend, Adam. And I was friends with Adam, his wife, his kids. But then when I got out of being a travel agent, we lost touch. Tends to happen, right? You used to work somewhere, you're a really good friend, you're all going out to lunch, you're going out for drinks after, and then life happens and it gets away from you, and next thing you know, you haven't talked to them in years. Is that just me? Anybody can you relate to that? Okay, thank you for the head nods. I love that. Sometimes I look and I'm like, is that just me? Okay. So I'm sitting there on my couch. It is 2020. I haven't talked to Adam in at least 4 years, 3 to 4 years. Okay. He's in my phone because we don't delete people, but I have not talked to him, texted him, or anything. I might have probably hearted something that his wife posted on Facebook. Yes, I said Facebook. All right. I didn't have Instagram back then. It took me a little while to get my daughter up to get me up on Instagram. So now you can't get me off of it. So I was sitting there planning travel for myself. I was running into some issues online with what I was looking at. And I'm like, why is this not working? Like I was trying to look at some numbers and for my travel. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to text Adam. Now, again, haven't talked to him in 3 to 4 years. Could that be an awkward text? Could that feel a little like, oh gosh, should I text him? I don't know, right? They might have people in their sphere of influence or friends and family who they have not, meaning, does anybody have people in their phone right now who they have not reached out to because they're like, I haven't talked to them in like 5 years. That's so weird, right? So I'm going to share this story and then one other, then we're going to move on. So I was like, you know, I'm not texting about real estate. I'm not even, well, I was in real estate that time, but I wasn't texting him about real estate. So I sent him a text. I was like, hey, it's been forever, because it has. Hey, it's been forever. How have you been? How's the family? I was sitting here planning a trip, wondering if you're still working in travel. Notice I didn't say anything about real estate. He responds back, oh my God, it's been forever. How have you been? Yeah, I'm still in travel. We then talked on phone and by text for the next week and a half, 2 weeks, all about travel, his kids, my daughter, all that stuff. Real estate did not come up until about a week and a half to 2 weeks in. He then goes, oh my God, I never asked you. What do you think he asked me? What do you guys think? Come off mute. Let me hear it.
What do
What
you do about real estate?
have you been? What do you do? What have you been up to? Right? They're all the same question. By the way, if you have another job, don't mention it because they will never hear real estate then. Just ignore your other job. If they're like, are you still doing that? Oh, yeah. Right. So he finally said, what have you been up to? I'm like, oh, I'm in real estate now. I'm loving it. You know, to help my buyers, sellers, investors, all throughout Maryland. That's all I said. I didn't say, are you looking to buy? You're looking to sell, anything like that. That's all I said. He goes, oh my God, that's awesome. That was it. That was the entire real estate conversation that came up. Nothing else. Okay. I then said, by the way, what's the best email for you these days? Why did I ask him for his email? Because where do I need to put that? Okay, I'm gonna go back a screen here.
In command.
In
Command.
command, in my database, right? So I wanted to make sure I had updated information because then what I did, so one, I strengthened the relationship by reconnecting. He's not down here. There's no conversion yet. He's not doing anything. His wife's not doing anything. I strengthened the relationship by reconnecting. I captured his email. I then put him on my absolute favorite smart plan, which is the monthly neighborhood nurture. Set it and forget it. I love it. So I put him on the monthly neighborhood nurture. So every week, every month, and by the way, if he didn't like it, he could just unsubscribe. So every month he just gets an email. He can delete it, he can look at it, whatever. Well, what ended up happening, about a year later, maybe about a year and a half to 2 years later, was I got notification in command, in my command app, that he added to his monthly neighborhood nurture a different area because it sends him an area around where he lives. That's what I set up as. He was able to go in and add because it's like it's almost like their own website for the person. He went in and added a totally different area of Maryland. So what might that tell us? He added a totally different area that he's looking at now. That he wanted to see houses in this again, the nurture, the neighborhood nurture, right? So I'm thinking, I wonder if he's moving. So I gave him a quick call. Well, actually, I sent him a text. He's a texter, not a caller. I mean, I eventually talked to him on the phone, but I gave him I sent him a text, eventually called. I was like, hey, I noticed you added, I'm gonna name a place in Maryland, Owings Mills. Are you and the family thinking of moving? He's like, oh, no, we're not doing anything, right? We're good where we are. I was like, okay, well, any future plans? Just out of curiosity, why'd you add that area? He goes, oh, eventually. So notice how I had to ask again. Eventually, right? So think about it. The first part of the relationship building was all forward. We talked about family. In one of our conversations, we talked about work. In one of our conversations, we talked about traveling and recreation, right? It was nothing real estate related. Fast forward about 2-ish weeks later, now we're building a stronger relationship again. We're rebuilding our relationship, should I say. And now we're talking all about, wait a minute, real estate. And he's like, yeah, probably when our kids graduate, when our youngest graduate high school, then we're thinking of selling and moving to Owings Mills. Oh, wow. Okay, so when the kids graduate, I don't know when that is. I don't remember how old the kids are. Right. So I was like, because it's been a while since, I saw them. So I was like, when's that time frame? Right. Now I got a little time frame. So criteria would be location. Time frame is 2 years from when. So they were graduating 2 years from when I asked him. They're like, oh yeah, my youngest graduates in 2 years. Does anybody reaction button time? Raise your digital thumb or hand or put a heart, the reaction heart, if you want business in 2 years from now. Would you like business in 2 years? I really hope every single person is hearting this right now. Okay. Now don't get me wrong. I know we all want business today, but real estate is not an instant gratification game. That was the hardest lesson I had to learn in my first year of real estate. That was the absolute hardest lesson I had to learn is real estate's not instant gratification. Real estate is building relationships to help people for when they're ready. And the more we talk to people, the more relationships we build, the more we feed this funnel, the more business we have. Right? Love the reactions. All right. So again, it all starts with mindset, right? Um, it's all about rethinking, right? So think about this picture. It's all about planting seeds. Right now, I am not, my husband will say this, I am not a gardener of any, I love planting things. I love buying plants. I love making a vegetable garden. I don't take care of it. Okay. Thankfully, he does. So if I were the one to go and plant all the seeds, I would have no harvest. I would have no tomatoes, no peppers, right? No green beans. Thinking of all the things I plant, my basil would die. Real estate is the exact same analogy, right? What we're doing is in our conversations with people, we're planting seeds, we're reminding them organically that we're in real estate and we're here to help them. And we're here to be a resource, not just for buying and selling or investing. We're here to be a resource for their needs, right? What are their needs they have? Do they have, do they need a plumber, a roofer, a landscaper, uh, thinking of other household things, an inspector. I recently needed an HVAC person. I recently needed an electrician to come to my house, right? Now, again, you don't have to know all those people right now, but you do want to build your referral network, or not your referral, your partner network, right? Because you do want to be that resource, right? So you become this household name of who to go to for household things. Yes, I love that you just said that in the chat. It requires patience. Real estate definitely requires patience. All right. Here's the thing. Once you meet your new contacts, you either do business with them immediately or you don't. Let me repeat that. You either do business with them immediately or you don't. Either way, once you've met them, you put them in your database and you stay in touch with them forever. The only time you ever take them out is when they are TCP Act. They say the words, take me off your call list. That's different. That follows the TCPA rule, right? They don't say, if someone's saying that I'm not interested today, well, guess what? Today is, I don't even know what today's date is. Today is February 3rd. Cool. They might be interested in, I don't know, June. They might be interested in September. They might be interested in January, maybe February of next year, right? It's not about today. It's about staying in touch and building those relationships for the future. All right, before we get into identify goals, I want to kind of open it up and ask them, just see what thoughts or questions you have just in that topic right there, right? Just as you're thinking about your sphere of influence, who you're calling, who you're reaching out to, your social media network, and having conversations to build stronger relationships, what comes to mind? Are you fearful of it? By the way, I was. Oh, when I first started in real estate, I did not call my friends and family. I was terrified. I posted social media and I sent out like an email and I'm like, there you go, they'll remember me. Even though every single class was like, no, they won't, right? I listened to me teaching a class saying, they're going to forget you every 2 weeks. And I'm like, no, they won't. It's fine. They'll remember me. My first year in real estate, I had three very close friends, one of which is literally my best friend who I see every single week. All right. We got girls' night every Thursday. And she bought and sold with other agents. My other two really close friends bought and sold with other agents all in a 3-month time span. And it wasn't because they wanted to use another agent. What was it because? Why did it happen? Now, here's the thing. I have great relationships with them. They're all super close. I see one every Thursday. Why did they all use different agents though?
You didn't contact them about it, or yeah.
I never talked real estate.
Yeah.
I never reminded them. They found out when I got my real estate license, but that was it. I never reminded them. I never brought it up. I never, yes, thank you, Eva. I did not ask. By the way, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Always
Hmm.
no. You will always have a no if you don't ask. Right. So if you're not asking, right now, here's the thing. Here's one of my favorite ways to ask. You know what? Oh, we're gonna do an activity right now. I was gonna say this for later, but we're doing it right now. I'm switching gears a little bit. We're gonna do an activity. Um, this is way easier when I can see faces for this activity, but that's okay. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna use the chat box and reaction buttons if you can't put your camera on. So this activity, we are going to, and I'm thinking you've done this probably throughout Ignite at least once. I'm hoping you did this throughout Ignite at least once. We are going to send a purposeful real estate text. If you're a social media person, you can totally do DMs. Okay, DM or text. I don't care which one you do. Don't call people. I'll never get you back. All right, we're not calling people, right? And what you're going to send is you're going to send verbiage. Now, again, make your own words. I'm going to say this and I'm going to give you, I'm going to say it, then I'm going to give you 1 minute to write out or type out your way of saying it. And then I'm going to put a timer on for just a short period. It's going to be like 3 minutes. I'm going to put a timer on and then we're going to copy, paste, just change people's names because no lie, I did this activity many, many years ago. And then I was in a competition with people and I coached soccer for 9 years and I'm very competitive. So I like to win. So I copy, paste so fast. I forgot to change everybody's names in the text I sent. So everybody was called Barry. I literally sent my dad a text and his name's not Barry. I sent friends and family and everybody a text. They're all Barry because I just wanted to win that. Like I copy, paste. Now I will tell you, it brought a lot of humor and I got way more responses doing that than I ever did, but it was also a little embarrassing. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to send a text or DM. It's going to sound something like this. Again, I'm going to give you example verbiage. You're going to have a minute to reword it for yourself. Okay. So I'm going to give you two examples. The first one is the person in your phone you haven't talked to in like 3 or 4 years, like my friend Adam. You're not going to bring up real estate. You're just simply going to say something like, "Hey, Larry, it's been forever. I was just going through my phone and realized we haven't talked in I don't know how long. How have you been?" That's it. That's one example of a text. That's how you reconnect. That's how you rebuild relationships with people that might have been lost in the sauce. Okay. By the way, I did this the end of 2015. Again, when I lost a lot of business because I was not reaching out to my friends and family, my sphere, I was not reminding them I was in real estate. I was in a class and there was this instructor, great instructor, probably one of my favorites I've ever had. And he had us doing an activity where we called people. And we had to call people on our phone and find out who knew, if anybody had any real estate goals or if they knew anyone who had any real estate goals we could help with. Well, I was too nervous. True story, I was too nervous to make the calls. We were all in a room together in person. So I faked the calls. I actually walked around going, for those not paying attention to the screen, I'm pretending to talk on the phone. The instructor came up and was like, "You're faking your calls, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, yes, I am." He then grabbed my phone, scrolled the contacts, went boop, it's ringing. So he scrolled the contacts. Actually ended up landing on this guy, Barry, on my phone. So Barry was a director that I had back when I worked at a university years ago. Told you many lives. And I haven't talked to him for at least 6 years. At least 6 years. But again, we don't delete people out of our phone. So, of course, it's ringing. I'm like, don't answer, don't answer. Long story short, Barry answers. We rekindle friendship. We still talk to this day. Oh, and by the way, That week, he gave me 12 referrals.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that. Okay, so when I say this stuff works, like it works. So the very first text can just be simply reconnecting with someone you haven't talked to in a while. The other text is what's called the purposeful one. The purposeful one is where you actually talk real estate. Okay, now here's the verbiage. I'm going to give you example verbiage, and then you're going to put in your own words. So it might be something like, by the way, I'm a hey person, not a hi person. You do your own thing. Um, hey, Robert, hope you're having a great day. I'm reaching out to see if there's any, I'm reaching out to everybody I know to see if there's any real estate goals that you have this year that I could help with, or if there's anyone you know. If you don't like the word goals, the word needs works as well. See if there's any real estate needs you have. By the way, the key is saying the words this year. If you use the word now, my background psychology, so anytime you take a class with me, you're going to learn a little brain stuff, okay? If you use the word now, it sends a signal to a person's brain going, nope, I don't need it now. Nope, I'm good. But if that person actually is looking to buy a house, let's say in June, they're actually not going to tell you because you use the word now and they're thinking February. Okay. Like it automatically signals like, nope, not now, I'm good. But if you say, yeah, are there, just seeing if there's any real estate needs that you have this year, or if you know anyone I can help. I will say this to everybody on this call. Nothing bad has ever happened from this activity. Knock on granite. Okay. The only thing that's ever happened is one, people are like, oh my God, I didn't know you're in real estate. That's amazing. That's awesome. Congratulations. You get all like the good feelings, right? Or you get people saying, no, man, but I'll keep you in mind. By the way, that's a positive thing because what you did is you planted a seed. They're now thinking of you when they think of real estate. That's all we have in life is just planting seeds. We're just planting seeds. Or they actually say, right? I did this activity. I do an orientation for the location I'm at twice a month. So I do this activity with every new agent that joins, and they are brand new. Like they just joined that week, like got licensed that week. And we do this activity. And I remember it was 2 months ago, we did this activity. One of the individuals in the room was terrified to do it. I'm like, let's go. Just nothing bad will happen. I promise. I promise. Like, just trust me. He went, he mass texted it to like he has like a fraternity group text of like 31 people. So he literally sent it to that mass text or that mass group. All of a sudden, by the end of the orientation, somebody texted him back because they want to buy a house and they want to start looking. Oh, and they've already gotten pre-approved. Right. Now, he was terrified because he literally just got licensed like 3 days before. But I was like, we got you. We have coaches. We're good. Like we got your back. We're not gonna let you fail. Right. So don't fear the yes because you have support where you are with other agents and your brokerage and other fellow, your Ignite members. And if you're part of our Facebook community, you have support. You have people you can reach to. If you're at a location where there's a coach, there's somebody who's there who's willing to help, especially if you're with Keller Williams, because our culture is you can call and anybody can help. Like that, our culture is that of giving, right? So when I say nothing bad happens, only good things. Okay, so you got two texts. One is, hey, how have you been? It's been forever. What have you been up to? The other is, what real estate needs do you have? Or if you know of anyone, or do you know of anyone that I can help? Any real estate needs you have this year that I can help with?
Uh, question.
Yeah.
Uh, we're sending that second part after they responded, or we just send them that second question like right
So
away.
you're only going to do one text,
Okay.
but you have a choice between, like, so if I'm sending to somebody on my phone who I haven't talked to in like 3 years,
Yeah.
for me personally, now I work with someone who's like, I don't care, I'm going to send everybody this purposeful text. For me personally, I want to rekindle that relationship more, the strengthen the relationship more. So for
Yeah.
them, I'm going to say text number one or text A, which is more of just how have you been? It's been forever. If I'm scrolling
Uh,
my phone and I'm texting, my friend Chris, I know Chris. I talked to Chris for, actually, I do need to text Chris about real estate. That's actually funny. So, Chris, I'm going to send the real estate text B, which is, hey, any real estate needs you have this year that I can help with, or do you know anyone? And yes, I see in the comment box, I love that. Make them laugh. Yeah, anytime you can make someone laugh, you will win them over. And that's, by the way, that's also an amazing way to strengthen a relationship is just bring a smile to their face in some way, right? Um, did that answer your question? Is it Jamond?
Yes, you
Okay,
you
did that
answered.
answer it?
Thank Yeah, that was
Cool,
good.
awesome. All right,
Good.
any other questions before, again, take about 1 minute right now. If you have a question, I'm here, but I just want you to sit there and kind of write out or type out like, how would you word this? Don't overthink it. Does not need to be perfect. Make it you, be genuine. Okay, keep it you. Again, the real estate one is gonna, if you've never done this, is gonna feel uncomfortable because you've never done it. Anything we do feels uncomfortable. All right, any questions? I'm going to put a timer on and we're going to do this activity for, let's see. We're going to do this for about 5 minutes. That's
Are
it.
we
Just
going to add it to the chat?
what was that?
Are we going to add it to the chat the way we will say it?
Oh, I can definitely type it in the chat. Absolutely. So give yourself another 30 seconds and figure out what you're going to say. I'm going to put in here the real estate. The personal one, that's pretty easy. It's how have you been? It's been forever. I'm going to put the real estate one, right, in the chat. So the text is, hey. Let me just click away here. Just checking my spelling real quick, then we'll put this in the chat. All right, so I just put an example in the chat. Again, short and sweet. You can change it up a little bit, make it you, right? Again, anytime you take a class, you're going to hear from different voices, different tonalities, different ways of saying things, right? From all these amazing trainers and instructors you've had at Ignite and just at your brokerage and just, just meeting agents around and just taking classes. And you always want to take something, but then you always want to make it yourself, make it your own. Staying professional, of course. All right. Any other questions? I'm going to put on the timer right now. I am here for questions. I'm going to start the timer right now for 5 minutes. But again, if you have questions, go ahead right now for 5 minutes. What you're doing is you're going to text or DM as many as you can in 5 minutes. I am at the end of this going to ask you approximately how many did you send to. If anybody calls you, do not answer because you're in a class. Just shoot them a text. Hey, I'm in a class. Give you a call in an hour. If anybody texts you back, cool. Don't get in a big texting chain because we want to see how many you can send in 5 minutes. You can text them a little later. It won't be in the end of the world. Okay, so copy, paste, send. Just keep on sending. Do not overthink this. Oh, that is a great point. Yes, for those on the East Coast, you are correct. You cannot text right now. Very good point. Usually this is like 6 to 8 or 7 to 9 Central Time. So oh, it's 9 Central. That's right, because it's 10 o'clock right now. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, because usually most states do have texting rules. So what I'm going to say right now to work on is I'm going to have you, if you're in a location that you cannot send text right now because of the time frame, what I want you to do is spend this next 3.5 minutes we have. Everybody else keep texting and DMing, especially if you're in California, Colorado. Um, Write out or type out the verbiage that you really like to use. So that way tomorrow, as soon as you get going with your day, you find 15 minutes, all right? Preferably in the morning, get out of the way, but 15 minutes, or if you're at work, a lunch break, but you find 15 minutes and you already have it typed up, what you like, and you're just copying and pasting that and sending it. Okay, so use this time to work on typing out your words, making your own dialogue starter, basically. Some people refer to it as a script. We don't use that word anymore. Conversational starter, whatever word you like to use. I appreciate you sharing the time zones. I typically teach the Eastern time. So I always have to remind myself of that when I teach Pacific time because there's more, you kind of get more of the nation on here. So again, keep texting a little bit. By the way, I used to play music, but unfortunately, every time I play music on here, I then have to go through and find where the music was in the time frame. I have to edit that, which takes more time to get it out to you guys for recordings because YouTube, if there's a music in the background, will not allow me to upload it anymore. So, and if I sang, you would all drop off of Ignite. You would just get off of Ignite right now if I sang. So I'm not going to do any of that to you. So we're just going to sit here while you text. By the way, we only have a minute left. So those doing this activity right now, if you're just writing out your script, read it out loud and see if it sounds good to you. Make sure you're prepping for tomorrow, right? For those doing the activity, texting, DMing, you have another minute. You can get a few squeaked out here. Thirty seconds. All right, 3, 2, get that last one out and time. Okay, come on back. All right, if you're getting that last one out, cool. I want to hear, so for those doing this activity, sending it in the chat box, put approximately how many you sent. I want to see some numbers in the chat box flow through. And then I'm going to talk about some of the text examples I see in here that people are giving. So thank you. Love that. All right. I see 2 sent out. What else we got? What'd you all send? 3, 1. All right, another 3.
Just want
Oh,
to
I
share
love that
that.
you actually wrote 2. I love this. This is awesome. This is fantastic. Um, Natalia, I love what you just said. I'm reaching out because You were reminding people you were studying real estate and you're now reminding them, or you're now letting them know you got into real estate. That is if you are brand spanking new to real estate, that is a fantastic example of a text to send. Thank you for sharing that. So others look in the chat box. If you're like, what do I send to people? That's a great, great example.
Can I share something, Elaine?
Yeah.
So I'm new into real estate. I tried to connect with people last year, and for different reasons, they didn't move forward. But this week and today, I was able to reconnect with four from last year, and they told me they're going to be present at an open house this coming Saturday. So it was a good feeling for me.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. Oh, that's awesome. Ooh, that's a hand clap right there. Love that. Oh, I love the wins. By the way, here's the thing. I've been doing this now. I've been running the Ignite After Dark program for, wow, since 2020. Oh my God, it's been over 5 years. That is nuts. And time goes really fast. And the one thing that I probably love the most is when I hear from each of you your success stories. Like that to me is just the greatest thing that, you know, that you could share. All right. I love the people sharing their items in here. Now, I'm going to give a piece of advice. I hope it's okay that I give this advice. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a little coaching moment. Is that cool with everybody? When you send a text, unless you've already unless you've already had multiple connections to where it's now the timing is right, and then I'm going to get back to MCAT in just a second, the timing is right. Don't mention anything about money. Don't talk about lenders, financial, mortgage, any of that stuff. Because typically, unless the person is already pre-approved, you already talked about that stuff and you're just following up on it, that's different. If you haven't and you're re-engaging people to see if they're ready to buy, not so much sellers. Sellers, it's, hey, great, let me come out to see your house. Go right in for the listing appointment. Okay. But buyers specifically, when you talk about number one, if you haven't built a relationship with them, you haven't earned the right to talk about money or lenders or finances. Also, two is if you mention the word lending or finance, it scares people like crazy. So when agents come to me and they're like, yeah, I was talking to these people and then they just haven't reached back out to me, like they're not responding at all. My first question to that agent is, did you mention lending in any way? And they're like, yeah, my last text. I'm like, it's okay. We can get them back, but it's going to take a little time and work because you just scare them. And it's not because you scared them, it's because that word scares people. Because in their brains, they think lending, they're like, oh my God, I'm not ready to buy a house. I didn't pay my bills. I didn't do my taxes yet. I don't know where my W-2s are. Like they get all in their head about it, right? So keep your initial text very relationship, very moving forward, as far as people's goals, houses. You can even do teasers. I'm going to share an example of that in just a minute on what's called a MOFR, make offer for immediate response. And I'll share an example of that in about 2 slides from now. Okay. Now, before I identify goals, I did not finish the MCAT. Again, M is motivation, C is criteria, A is ability, meaning financial ability, and T is time frame. And the order of that, so when you look at my command, it literally is M dash, and then I write notes, right? Or I type notes, C dash, 3 bed, or, 3 bed, 2 bath, garage, need a yard for a dog, right? That's criteria, right? Um, Again, financial ability is, are they a buyer? Will they need lending eventually at some point in time? Doesn't mean they have to talk to someone today if they're not looking again for, if they're not looking for 9 months from now. And of course, time frame is the most important question. If they're not ready now, time frame is the most important question because that tells you how to follow up, right? It's always fun when You get off the phone with someone, you're like, you talk to someone on the phone and you say, yeah, I know you want to get out of renting, buy a house. Can't wait to help you. The person's like, yeah, I'm just kind of looking right now. I'm not really looking to do anything just yet, maybe in the future. And then as an agent, we're like, cool, sounds great. I'll follow up with you. Bye. And we hang up the phone, but I don't know what future means. I have no idea what their time frame is. So how do we know to follow? How do we know how to follow up? So anytime someone says, I'm just looking, or I'm just browsing, or maybe in the future, or down the road, ask one additional question. Awesome. I love that you're just browsing. That's so much fun. So what time frame, when in the future are you thinking about doing it? Right? Or what's your thoughts on the future? Do you have a time frame in mind? When would you like to be out of renting and into owning your own home? Okay, so that MCAT is kind of your cheat sheet for after you build a relationship and you find out they actually have a real estate need. Those are the questions you ask. All right, so let's talk about identifying goals. Okay, so here's the thing. So we talked about lead generation, meaning talking to people, connecting with them. We talked about we need to find out what their motivation is and their time frame is to have better follow-up, right? And be able to convert them to a transaction, which means closing. Okay. Now, everybody falls in this line, these arrows, I guess you can call those. Every single person falls in this, I'll call it a graph. Everybody falls in this graph at some point in time. I don't know if anybody remembers, but it was week 1 of Ignite, and you probably saw a slide, and it showed a bunch of waves. And those waves give a timeline of approximately how long it is between people buying and selling, right? How often they do. Does anybody remember how many years on average people buy and sell? Does anybody remember that wave graph? Okay, great guess. 8. So it's usually, here's the thing. So, yep, 7 to 10, exactly. Now, interesting. Market research last year came out with a new graph, but it's not in our, that's not been proven yet because it's only 1 year as opposed to 3 years of data. But last year's graph showed every 5 to 7 years, not 7 to 10. So they're showing that more and more people are moving faster. So they're buying a house, selling after 5, getting something else, right? But that graph in Ignite shows 7 to 10 years. So that's a very average, right? So 8 is absolutely an average number of years. So if everybody buys or sells, or the majority, not everybody, right? If everybody has a real estate need, selling and buying every 7 to 10 years, so they're all falling along this line every 7 to 10 years, our job is to find out where they are in that timeline and that wave to know where they fall in this graph to help them again for when they're ready for that transaction. All right. So we already kind of talked about this. I'm going to skip right to this one right here and talk a little bit about mind share positioning. Okay. Here's what this means. Mind share positioning means staying top of mind. Again, I mentioned earlier on, everybody forgets us every 2 weeks. Now, that doesn't mean call everybody every 2 weeks and be like, hey, I'm in real estate, don't forget, right? Quarterly is good enough. And then every month, so if they get a call from you every quarter to touch base and build a stronger relationship, and then they're getting an email every month. My favorite's the monthly neighborhood nurture, but they get an email, an automated email every month. So they're seeing, oh yeah, look, there she is in real estate. That's awesome. Okay, delete, right? And they'll stop deleting it when they actually need it. What you're doing there is you're taking over mind share. You're staying top of mind. Everybody, okay, almost everybody, 80-20 principle, 80% of people out there know more than one agent. Or if they don't know more than one agent, they come across when the time is when they need agents, they come across more than one agent. The agent who stays top of mind, the agent who stays in touch, the agent who builds a stronger relationship is almost always the agent who wins. Right? So if you talk to someone, let's say that Felicia talks to someone today and they're looking to sell their house and they're looking to sell it in September. And I talk to that same person who's looking to sell their house in September. And Felicia does what's right as an agent. And she connects with this person every month. By the way, if someone says 4 to 12 months, you're talking to them every month. Because the month you don't talk to them is the month they talk to another agent. That's the secret of the follow-up with this. So Felicia's talking to them every month to build a stronger relationship. How are they doing? Check in. Right? If one of your conversations, they start talking about a vacation, make a note of that. So your next conversation next month, oh my God, how was that vacation? How was Cancun last month? Right? Or, oh my God, I know last time we talked last month, you mentioned that your son just broke his leg. How is he doing? I know it's been a month. How is he doing? Is he all healed? Is he better? By the way, I don't know about you. I don't have the memory for that. So your system, your note taking is crucial there. So when you call them back, you can just read your notes. And the person's going, oh my God, that's so thoughtful that they cared to remember that. And again, what that does is position you in their mind. You're literally taking over their heads, okay? That's what we're trying to get every one of you to do, all of us agents to do, is just continually stay top of mind, right? So if I go as an agent and I follow up with a seller in August, but Felicia's been talking to them every month, right? Now she has a stronger relationship. I have no relationship. Come August, she has absolutely already met them in person if they're looking to sell in September. She's probably even already has the paperwork signed by August if they're looking to list in September. So by the time I call them and follow up, their conversation with me is going to say, oh my God, yeah, we actually just signed with another agent. We're getting our house on the market in a few weeks. To where me as the agent's going, okay, on to the next one, right? So it's the agents who truly stay in touch and build relationships who win, right? When you see agents, like I have a friend who literally had 23 closings in December. 23 closings in December. And the way that happened, well, number one, she put systems in place, right? She uses her database, she has notes, she has like a cheat sheet for everything she does, right? But also she's built up such a pipeline being your database and who's ready, right? Who are those future clients? She's built up such a pipeline of people and stayed in touch with them so consistently and kept feeding it with more people. You can't just stop with that. Be like, yeah, I have somebody in September. I'm going to stop connecting with people. It's a consistent thing, right? Consistency is your friend. You kind of also like to be successful in real estate. Somebody told me this a long time ago, and I didn't like the saying, but over the years, it's kind of stuck with me, and it's very true. To be truly successful in real estate, I mean, yes, people, relationships, connections, but we have to almost get comfortable with the boredom of routine. Now, by the way, I didn't say you have to be, it doesn't have to be boring. There's so many exciting ways to do this business, right? But we have to be comfortable with the routine of it, the consistency of it, the habit of it, right? We can't go to the gym once and having never gone to the gym for a year and expect to all of a sudden see results the next day. I can't plant my tomatoes in my garden and all of a sudden walk out the next day and be ready to eat tomatoes from a seed, right? This takes time and nurturing and habits. All right. And then somebody mentioned this at the very beginning. I was like, what's another reason why strengthening relationships is so important. And somebody in the very beginning, and I forget your name, but somebody said referrals. I was like, absolutely. Right? Because you're building a relationship with someone who might not, so I'll use my friend Adam as the example. So when I talked to Adam and he did mention they were looking to sell their house and buy a new house in 2 years, okay. Number one, I'm not waiting 2 years to revisit this relationship and to reconnect, right? Another agent would have already swooped in. Not to mention, I really want to actually rekindle this relationship. Number two is probably in those 2 years, he's going to come across a friend or family or coworker or somebody in his life anywhere, or his wife will, who knows somebody with a real estate need. Okay, so building the relationship and staying top of mind is so important because that's how you get referrals. However, somebody also said this in the chat, and it was spot on, and that is you have to ask. Now, it doesn't mean that every single time you talk to someone, you have to be like, who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? Right? But you definitely every quarter, 4 times a year, you're making a point to make sure you talk to your friends and family and you're asking them who they know. Well, you're asking them what needs they have and you're asking them who they know. Because if you don't ask, the answer again is always no. Okay. Okay, so we talked about the mindset, we talked about relationships, we talked about verbiage to use, right? We talked about you have the starter relationship, which is that Ford method, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Then you have when you do connect with someone and they do state they have a real estate need at some point in time. It doesn't need to be today. It could be later this year, it could be beginning of next year, but they have a real estate need at some point in time. We're going to get a little more information using that MCAT method from them, right? Through relationship building, we're going to ask who they know to get referrals because everybody knows people. And the more relationships we have with people, the more they trust us, the more likely they are to want to also help us grow our business, right? As real estate agents, one of the greatest things we can do, I'm going to stop this a second and show this. It's not in the slides. As a real estate agent, one of the greatest things we can actually do as an agent is educate the people not in real estate. By the way, I call them the outside world, the people not in real estate on what we do. They don't know what we do. They don't know what real estate agents do. They don't know how we can help. And by the way, when I say we can help throughout the world, okay? Not just locally where you live. The class I taught at 12 o'clock today, one of the agents in that session said, I did the texting activity because she's part of my coaching group. So she does the texting every day. So she did the texting activity a few days prior. Today, she got a message back from somebody that she knows who's looking to sell their house in Maryland, or in Maryland, and buy a house in North Carolina. And she's like, what do I do with that? Right now, she's brand new. She just started. I'm not expecting her to know what to do. And so we talked through, all of us, especially with Keller Williams, we have partnerships. You might not know them. You might not know who the person is, but they still exist. I always say to people, listen, I can help you no matter where you live, no matter where you're looking, because I have partners. I have real estate partners who are just highly trained, ready to go, highly successful, who I trust, right? That I would love to connect you with, right? So it's letting people we know that we can help them no matter where it is. There was an agent I worked with back in 2018 who literally was at Target shopping and she was in line and she loves talking to everybody. I love that about her. And she's in line and she struck up a conversation with the employee there checking her out. And as she was, scanned all the items and everything, the agent said, hey, I know you work here, but do you live around here? Person's like, yes. Well, I'm a local real estate agent. I'd love to, get your information so I can send you all of my information. So if you ever have any real estate needs, I can help you. So the target employee is like, well, I mean, I don't have any real estate needs, but my sister is looking to sell her house in Jamaica. And can you help her? She's like, let me get her information. I'd love to see how I can help. So, long story short, she actually connected this stranger. She just, this sister of the person she just met at Target. So she connected this person who owns a house in Jamaica with an agent that Keller Williams in Jamaica, right? And she got a referral fee off it. And it was a $1.2 million home for sale. Right. So real estate is literally everywhere. It truly is everywhere. The more we talk to people and build our database of it, and the more we stay in connection with them, the easier it gets. So let's move on to the final thing. It's the final thing of the night, and that is putting it all together. It's devising your plan. Okay. So how do we stay in communication with them? So again, we have to know everybody in your database should be on some sort of touch plan. Okay, so all of your friends, your family, that sphere of influence, right? That hairdresser, the mechanic, your accountant, they should all be on what's called the quarterly phone calls. Okay, it's called the quarterly touch plan. So in command, it's quarterly. Now, if you're in a different system, they might have it called something different, or you can set it up yourself. It's actually very easy. It's where you basically take 20 people per day and you set a task to call them every quarter. You don't want to set 100 because then you'll wake up one day and be like, oh my God, I have 100 people today. You need to spread it out. So what that does is remind us to reach out to people and not forget people. Then you have the emails, newsletters, market reports, videos, whatever you want to do there for 12 touches. I personally like the monthly neighborhood nurture. I like that one the most because it's already created for me. I literally set it and forget it. So in 2019, I put 1,900 people on that plan. Haven't touched it since, as opposed to, other than just adding new people, right? And business comes from it every year, right? Other ones, now, if you're not pulling in a revenue yet in real estate, I'm always a big fan, I'll say it that way, right? Supporter of lead with revenue. So if you're not making money yet, don't be spending money yet, except for things you absolutely have to spend them on, like signs and, you know, cards, and if you need to do printing or things like that. You don't necessarily need to do in today's market right away. Again, if you're not making money, you don't have to start with magnets and calendars and direct mail, right? Now, if you're starting a farm, a geo farming thing, that's totally different. That's a totally separate topic. If you're like, oh, that's going to cost a lot of money, there's a lot of other touches you can do, especially with social media today, that you don't need to spend a lot of money. Okay. And then one touch a year is something in person. Now, if you're like, oh my God, renting out a movie theater, that sounds expensive. Um, believe it or not, it's a lot less expensive than you think these days. But this might be hosting, maybe you partner up with a few other newer agents and you get some lenders and title companies and other vendors together and they help offset the costs and you just throw a little event. I had a happy hour with a bunch of people at a local bar recently, and all we did is a few appetizers and 2 drink tickets. Right. Another one of our agents uses our office space, so there's no cost to her. So if you have that option, and twice a year she books our office space in the evening, so that's free. She has a bunch of vendor partners who pay for the food and beverages and all that, so that's free. And she just gets everybody together just to have a good time, right? So barely any money. I mean, she does do an invitation mail out to them, but other than that, barely any money out of her own pocket, right? So there's so many different ideas out there. If you're unsure of what to do, what other ideas or what suits you, go to ChatGPT or your favorite AI platform and just say, hey, I'm a new agent getting started. I'm looking to put together my 19 to connect touch system as an agent. Or you can take it the next step, my 36 to convert as a real estate agent, where I want to do, um, maybe different events, maybe different this, maybe different that. Give me a bunch of ideas. Right? Act as my director of ops and break this down for me. Right? So use AI to also help you come up with other ideas that fit you. Right? It makes sense to you. All right. Now, I talked about MOFR. Again, make offer for immediate response. That's what that stands for. And what that means, right? So an example of that would be something like, okay, so let's say I'm going to come off this for a second. So let's say you are talking to someone who might be thinking about buying a house sometime this year. Okay. You don't quite know when, but you know they want to buy a house this year. And you found out that they want to buy in a certain area, right? So they do want to buy sometime this year, so kind of a time frame, but not really, right? They want to buy by the fall, let's say. And they want to buy in this certain area. Okay, so a little bit of the criteria. And they need 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. We'll go with that. Right. And they have a dog. So they most likely want a yard. Right. So however, they might not be ready to look at houses yet. They might not be ready to talk to a lender. They might even be ignoring your text messages for a little bit. By the way, that doesn't mean they're not wanting to work with you. That doesn't mean they don't want your help. That just simply means they're not ready today. Right? So that's not a no if they're ignoring you. That's just simply they're busy because people are busy these days. That's all that is. Right? So I would probably send a text to them with a MOFR. And that text might be, hey, I know you're thinking about getting something I'm just going to randomly name areas right now. I know you're thinking about getting something in the suburbs right outside of Philly, right? Sometime by the fall. I actually just saw a house that's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms with a big fenced-in yard, great for dogs, and would love to share that with you. What's your best email? That could be great if you don't have an email. Or I'd love to see if you want to go see, I'd love to see if you have any interest in seeing it. Right. Or, hey, if you'd like me to set up a showing, call me today. If someone's truly not getting back to you, maybe you met someone at an open house and you followed up with them, but they're not getting back to you. I'm going to send a text and it's going to sound something like this. By the way, never mention anything about lenders. You haven't earned the right yet, but I'm going to send a text and it's going to say, hey, it was great meeting you at 123 Cookie Road at that open house. I'd love to set up a customizable search for a free customizable search for you. So you're getting homes as soon as they come on the market right away, emailed right over to you. What's the best time today to give you a call? Right. So what's the best time today? So I'm giving something, free customizable search. And then what's the best time today to give you a call is that call to action. Right. So when you put those things together, right? If someone's thinking about selling, same thing works for sellers. If someone's like, well, I'm thinking about selling at some point this year, but I'm not really sure when. I'm just kind of playing with the market to see how it goes. I really hope the prices go up a little bit. Right. So let's say you all of a sudden see a house in that area go on the market, right? I might send a text to that homeowner and say, hey, I just noticed a house went on the market in your area. Okay, I don't need to mention the address. I don't need to mention, I definitely don't want to mention the other agent. But hey, I noticed a house came on the market in the other in your area. I'd love to provide you with an updated market analysis of what the prices look like today for your homes. What's the best time to give you a call? Now, by the way, I'm not giving pricing over the phone. I have to get an appointment for that. I'm getting on the phone to get information to set an appointment, right? But you can't do that without conversation. Any questions on MOFR? Right, so again, it's almost like you're giving a teaser with that call to action. That call to action at the end of it is always something for them to do. What is the best time to give me a call today? Or call me today by 6, or call me today by 8. Okay, so I'm going to have all of you do a little activity. We're just going to get started with the activity. It's not going to be, you're not going to finish it right now. The action item though, after Ignite tonight, I'm going to give you this, and then I'm going to share a great daily habit plan that I gave in my class I did at 12 o'clock today with the agents I coach. So an action item is, I'm going to start you off on this, but then between now and, what's today? Tuesday? So I'll say Sunday. Between now and Sunday, find 1 hour. That's it, just 1 hour where you you put your phone on silent, you close off all the social media, you don't have the distractions, right? Nobody's around you to distract you. And either with command and smart plans, or you can even start with a piece of paper, just writing this out to start with if you want, if that's more comfortable for you. You're going to develop your touch plan. Okay. Now, maybe it starts at 19, moves up to 36. Then from 36, you're going to move up to that. It does go higher from there, but that's kind of the sweet spot. Okay. Just to show you what 36 looks like, let me go back. Okay. So if we think about this, a lot of times people are like, oh my God, 36, that's a lot of touches. But think about this. If once a quarter, you're calling them to keep the relationship going and build it stronger, that's 4 touches. If they're getting a monthly neighborhood nurture, that's 12 touches. If they have another type of email they're getting, or maybe you put them on the bi-monthly neighborhood nurture or bi-weekly neighborhood nurture, right? Or you have a newsletter and that going out, right? So if you have that going out, let's say twice a month, that's 24 touches. If it's going out bi-weekly, it's 26 touches. If you host an event, right? So hosting an event, you have multiple touches. If you do one event, so we have a huge group we have like 40 some agents all getting together in our location and they are organizing home buying seminars. Now they're not 40 some people doing it together, but they're like little pockets of them hosting home buying seminars as a group because it's way more fun to do it as a group, right? So here's the cool thing about a home buying seminar, listing seminar, an event of some sort, right? Is you have one touch. Well, actually, you have multiple touches to invite them. It might be you're calling them to invite them. You might be texting them to invite them. Maybe there is something you mail them to invite them. Then they're at the event. So that's a person that's in person. That's a touch right there. Then after the event, you're calling everybody to either thank them for attending the event and following up, or, hey, I'm sorry you missed the event. Let me get you the information. Right. So right there, out of everything I said, that's at least 4 to 5 touches right there. Okay. So 36, and then if you have people's birthdays in your database and you're wishing them happy birthdays, there's a touch right there. As you start getting past clients, well, let me rephrase that. As you start getting clients and then they settle, and now you have home anniversaries, there's a touch right there. Right. So see how it becomes a lot easier to think of, like, what are all the ways to keep in touch with people throughout the year to build stronger relationships. So what I want you to do right now is you're just going to take, we'll just do 5 minutes. Okay, just take 5 minutes and either on your computer or a piece of paper, however you like to take notes, I want you to start creating your touch plan. Okay. So literally write out, are you going to do the quarterly touches? Do you want to do birthday touches? Do you want to host an event? If you do an event, are you going to, now you don't have to create the event right now. You're not creating the event. Just do you want to host an event this year? If so, that's a minimum of 4 touches right there. Okay. And then what else? Right? What else do you enjoy doing that could lead to this? Right? An agent in Tennessee put me on one of her, I'm in her database, and she has me tagged in her database. She has me tagged as trainer and coach. And then I also have a tag as travel lover. And then she also tagged me as a espresso martini because every time she comes across different recipes for espresso martini, she specifically emails those to those tagged espresso martini, right? So she personalizes a lot of her touches. So a lot of them are very generic, but a lot can be very personalized, right? Based on who they are, right? Or even what they do. Here in Maryland, we have a lot of teacher grants, a lot of grants for like teachers, nurses, firefighters, heroes. So one of the touch points is sending them something quarterly on, hey, just a reminder, there are things out there called hero grants. If you ever want to learn more about that, I'd love to get the information to you. Reach out. All right. So again, take 5 minutes right now. And just start writing out, what do you want your touches to look like? I am here for any questions you have. We are going towards the end, so I am going to play some music right now and I will edit it. That's not a problem. So let's go ahead and find some fun music that I can actually play on here. Really fun when you look at sometimes your Spotify and realize you can't play anything on here. Um, Might not be music at all. Let's see what this gives us. Can you hear the music at all?
No. No.
Not coming through, huh?
Now it was a little.
A little bit. Well, that's okay. Keep working on your plan. You're not going to get all 36 touches written out right now. You're just starting it. Because we're having silent music, like the Zen music. All right, we'll take another minute. Again, the whole premise with this is just for you to start thinking through and kind of opening that mind up to what could some of these look like, right? And to not overthink it. I am known to do that. All right, if you're still writing, keep writing. I'm actually going to ask for somebody to either come off mute or in the chat box. What are some things that you wrote down? What are some ideas? Any at all?
I actually put mine in chat and it gave me some pretty good ideas that I can incorporate.
Love that. Would you mind sharing one of them that it said?
Yeah. Let's see. I actually did two. I did like the 19 touch and the 36, but um for the 36 touch, oh, it was just saying kind of like emails, phone calls. For instance, like monthly core touch is 24. Um, monthly emails, that's like 12 touches right there. It could be like market update, home tips, or encouragement. Uh,
Home tips. People love the home tips, by the way.
mhm.
Like
And
prep your house for
then,
this, prep your house for that. People eat that up. They actually read. Those are the ones they read.
yep, and then monthly text. So like 12 monthly texts. So that alone, that's like 24 touches right there.
Love that. By the way,
And
there's thank you for sharing that. And I love that you put that in chat, right? Use AI. So, there's an agent who I'm on her newsletter. So I'm on a lot of people's newsletters and I have like a folder. I love that because I keep them all in a folder. And when I'm like, I need like inspiration or ideas, or like I'm in a class and I'm like, oh, I want to share examples, like I'll just go to that folder and find somebody's. So I like save everything. And one agent, she does a monthly newsletter.
mm-hmm,
And her newsletter, she does, and if you're in command, they have a newsletter format. And her newsletter, there's always something real estate related in there. There's always something of value in like something real estate, something of value in regards to real estate. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. Um, but then she always has community stuff because she's sending it to her sphere of influence mostly. And then she also has like her whole neighborhood on this thing. Like she literally went to her neighbors to get them on this newsletter because she does community things. And she puts in there like any new restaurants that popped up. She puts in there like any new shops, updates on the not so much community updates, but she
mm-hmm.
puts in there things like, oh, like 4th of July, like where all the, a whole list of where the fireworks are, right?
Christmas is a good one too.
Yeah,
Like
Christmas,
things to do for Christmas
the
or
holidays, exactly.
mhm,
Like where to go for the holidays, different craft shows and just fun things, right? New Year's events. Um, And because it's not, here's me, I'm an agent, and here's my real estate agent newsletter, which everybody just doesn't read. It's so entertaining. She always has like a recipe in there. I like that one, but it's so entertaining. It's informational, and it allowed her to get out to her few hundred person community over
mhm,
time. It wasn't like over a day, right? I think it took her like literally a year to get to the point where she has like more of a following in her community, but she was able it allowed it to be easier to get out to her community, go to actually knock on the doors, introduce herself and be like, hey, I have this community letter I started, here's what it shows once a month, What's your email? I'd love to invite you as part of the community. So she's getting all of her neighbor's information. She just made a connection. Her neighbor now knows she's in real estate because she introduced herself as,
Mhm.
I'm a local real estate agent, but this has nothing to do with real estate. It's a community newsletter,
It's a
right? So
good way to connect. Yeah.
it's an easy way to connect. She's not knocking the door and be like, hey, you looking to sell your house? She's just, I'm your neighbor. Here's some cool things.
And she's gonna stay top of mind. So
She's 100. I'm not even in her community, and I'm talking about her right now with all of you on Ignite. And I don't even live in her community. I don't even live in her state, right? But I know if I know anyone who's looking to move to her state, she's my go-to person, right? Because I remember her from what she sends me every single month, right? She has captured my mind share. Okay, so I want to share. I told all of you I taught a class earlier today, and this isn't in Ignite, but I wanted to bring it up, and it's something I shared in my class today. And it is the daily database habit. Okay. So most real estate agents, many real estate agents don't take time to work in their database because they get overwhelmed by it and it feels daunting. So like, oh my God, I have like 1,000 people, or I have 400 people, or I have 10,000 people, right? But if you look at it, you kind of put blinders on and you look at it and say, okay, I only want to focus on 20 people today, right? And maybe it is just getting started and saying, I'm going to put 20 people in my database today. Names, emails, if you have them, phone numbers, whatever piece of information you have, tagging them, all that good stuff, right? And then tomorrow I'm going to put 20 people in. Then the next day I'm going to put 20 people in. And it might take 90 days, it might take 4 months, it might take 6 months to get everybody in there, but you did it with purpose, right? Now, if you already have a database, you have people in there, now it's all about adding new contacts. And again, a lot of times we're running, okay? We have other jobs, we got this, we got family, we got lives, we just have stuff. We just have lifing. So what ends up happening is we get home, we're like, oh my God, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I just want to watch Netflix. I'll do that tomorrow. So then our daily database input of who we talk to, logging notes, all of that gets backed up. And then it's really daunting because now it's the end of the week and we're like, oh my God, that's just too much. But if you set aside time in your day, 15 minutes, right? Now in the beginning, if you're still learning, it's probably like 30 minutes. Once you get like muscle memory of like the system, it's about 15. You go in towards the end of your work day, I call it, right? You can even be sitting with Netflix on, all right? You can have a show on doing this. You add and add any new contacts you made. You put in the notes, take a minute, put in the notes, put in the conversation. You don't need to write a novel. You just need to put words in there that allow you to spark a memory for the next time you call them. Okay. And then put them on a smart plan. Set a task for whatever that task looks like, right? Take action with it based on what action needs to be taken, right? So if you have a daily habit of this, it won't feel so daunting. And that's how you're building strong relationships and staying in contact. Okay. And then the second thing is your weekly database habit, right? In your week, who are you reaching out to nurture, right? Did you talk to someone last month who you know they want to do something, but you don't know when, so you kind of need to find out that time frame? Call them this month. Call them this week. Hey, we talked last month. Told it, just want to follow up and just find out when are you thinking of getting out of renting and getting your own place and start building that equity as opposed to putting money in someone else's pocket. Oh my God, October. What has you thinking about buying a house in October? That's exciting, right? So getting that little conversation doesn't mean that they're going to be a buyer today. It doesn't mean you're showing houses tomorrow. But again, you're building that relationship, right? So when are you reaching out in the week to nurture people? When are you following up with those warmer conversations to move them forward so they don't forget about you? When are you cleaning up in your week missing information, right? That could be you set a goal and say, you know what, every day I'm going to clean up 10 leads. 10. You can do more, that's great, but let's just say you start with 10, right? And your system is alphabetized. You just start with A. Don't overthink it. Don't be like, oh my God, what should I focus on? Who should I call? A. Your system gives you literally the order to go in, right? And just start from the top, work your way to Z. All right, let me get through 10 people. If they don't have any email, I'm going to text somebody, right? Hey, Felicia, hope you're having a great day. Listen, I realize I don't know if I have the right email for you. What's your email these days? By the way, don't say, can I have your email? That automatically sends a signal to get them thinking and say no or why. Just simply say, what's the best email for you? Or what's your email these days? Right? And then reviewing that pipeline. Who do you have as potential buyers or sellers or investors that you've been talking to that said they have a real estate need at some point in 2026? Not March, but for the year, right? So you don't lose anybody. And again, consistency beats intensity. You don't have to be perfect. You do not have to be perfect. Your database will never have to be perfect. Don't wait for things to be perfect. Don't be like, I need to make a perfect Excel spreadsheet of everything lined up with the right tasks, the right names, and the right order, and delete my sushi place and delete the. Just get them in there. You can clean as you go, right? It is 10 years later. I'm still cleaning. Okay. It will never be perfect. It took me, I sat down. So when I did my database, like really did my database as a newer agent, I went to Panera Bread 3 days a week and sat there for 2 hours, 3 days a week. They got to know me. I would walk in and they'd be like, here you go. They already knew what drink I was getting. They already knew what I was ordering. Right. So 3 days a week. And obviously I got the rewards because, point systems, Panera. So 3 days a week, I would go there 2 hours, have my laptop, and that was my database time. And I was adding people, cleaning missing info, reaching out to people, texting people, letting people know I'm in real estate, reminding people I'm in real estate, and whatever happened in that 2 hours happened. And then I was done. And then 2 days later, I just did the same activity. And with the amount of people I had on my phone at that point in my life, it took me about 4 months. 4 months of approximately 3 days every single week. Every so often I flipped up, went to Barnes and Nobles, kind of like, ooh, I went to Starbucks, So every so often I kind of moved my location, but I had my location, I had the days, I had the times, and whatever I did in that 2 hours, I did. And once the time was up, I was done. Right. And didn't think about it for another 2 days. And again, it took 4 months to get everybody in there. It was not perfect. There's tons of missing info, but it was something. Right. So it is not, here's the thing. I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to open up for some questions at the end. Building relationships, building your database, building a real estate business is not instant gratification. This is a journey you are on. It is a ever-flowing journey, right? So all we can ask ourselves every day is, did I move the needle 1 degree today? Did I move the needle 1 degree today? Did I move the needle 1 degree today? Right? Did I do something? And if in your week you are not connecting with people, do that texting activity. Literally put a timer on your phone for like 30 minutes. How many people can I text in 30 minutes? And just get that, it works. And then flip over to social media. How many people can I DM in 30 minutes? Right? And just get it out there. Nothing bad will happen. I promise. I promise. All right. Ooh.